Oh, hi there. This is me yet again complaining about the legalization of marijuana. I disapprove, as anyone who's watched my previous videos will know. And a big part of the reason I disapprove is safety concerns. Okay, there most certainly were safety concerns with the gangbangers growing all the marijuana, even if, in some dark secret society. Really, they were just Muppets of the of the government anyway. Anyway, yeah, part of the problem is this is big pharma making a push for the total access of marijuana. And big pharma has too big an influence as it is in everyone's day-to-day life. Uh, and they are as corrupt as they ever were. And they may be slightly more intelligent about it now. The 100 years from now, they're still going to look like they're from the Stone Age, which would suit their personalities. Um, Aside from that, marijuana itself, like I watched, like a channel conversation on the television earlier, and they they mention, oh, marijuana smokers have anxiety, but they took that out of context, and when they have anxiety over pricing and blah 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 blah, which is to do with the actual distribution of marijuana and not the fact that marijuana actually causes anxiety. I mean, I'm not saying everyone is as graceful as Ashton Kutcher in that one episode from that '70s show where they thought the FBI or whatever it was watching them. I would absolutely relish having lived through a time with technology like that. Not with those people, but with technology like that, because there simply is a problem with intrusiveness, spying, hacking your data, and all that stuff. And it isn't by a foreign government; it's literally by your own government. In my case, would be the Canadian government. Anyone who suggests otherwise is a quack and a fucking idiot. Anyway, Big Pharma wants to take control of the marijuana biz. And that's probably because Big Pharma had their, you know, elbow deep into the cigarette companies' pockets. And, cigarettes are going down, 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 down because there's nothing to them other than, all kinds of nasty chemicals, a dirty taste in your mouth, and you look like a schnook. Anyway, so they need a new product. They need marijuana. And that means the people who were in support of marijuana, they picked strange bedfellows to fulfill their goals. And when I mean strange, I mean straight up evil. Like, these people were responsible for people getting esophageal cancer, lung cancer, all kinds of cancers in the most brutal fashion possible. And yet, in the media, they still try to present marijuana has never caused any harm whatsoever. Putting a doobie in your mouth and smoking the smoke out of it, whether it's a vapor or not, is irrelevant. I'm sure it has other nasty qualities to it. But anyway, as opposed to a cigarette, is more or less the same idea, except there is an actual effect to this. Whereas when cigarettes were first starting to get big, which was World War One, they had an effect too, because soldiers need something to do when they're in the trenches, fighting an actual war, where you got douchebags here going, "Oh, I got anxiety because, oh no, the sea levels are going up. Oh no, the capitalist corporation is out to get me. They charged me an extra 12 cents on my tomatoes." That's actually your fault, you marijuana smokers, because a lot of people who are farmers will have to switch to marijuana to keep into the game. As I said in a previous video where I was bad rapping marijuana, I don't want to see marijuana crops growing everywhere and armed guards with them, by the way, for sale overseas, because that means we will not see any profits on it. That marijuana will be taxed. There's no doubt about it. They don't bring it up much, but it's going to happen. They're going to tax it. And those stupid fucking idiots who go, man, I don't want to do anything in life. I just want to sit here with a doob in my hand and. Why are you even a voter in the gene pool? Whatever. Why are you here? You're useless. You can't benefit society in any meaningful way. So why don't you, I don't know, go live in the sewers like a chud or something? Oh, right, it's filled with bureaucrats. I forgot. Well, I'm sure there could be a suitable place for marijuana smokers. So I'm not on board with that idea at all. Like the only brush of good it does is put a paintbrush, which will take decades, by the way, to clean up the nasty sides of shitty areas like downtown Vancouver, East Van, Burnaby, Port Coquitlam, Maple Ridge, all those shitholes. I happen to live in one of them, so I would know. Um, and yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit, okay? They're spewing out lies. They've been spewing out propaganda, particularly on the internet, for a very long time. And it will have worked on the younger crowd. And, there are people who smoke marijuana who don't actually particularly enjoy it. They do it for socialization. They do it to be part of the in crowd. There's peer pressure. Um, and all those sorts of things. And it's not healthy for them, and they don't actually enjoy doing it. But do you think that gets mentioned on the television? Do you think Justin Trudeau gives a shit about that? People who are peer pressured into smoking marijuana who don't want to do it, or Justin Trudeau making billions of dollars. Which does Justin Trudeau care about? And let's see him say it with an honest smile on his face, him telling the truth, and him being sincere. You won't see that because that weaselly, third-faced rat would never show himself, especially in the public eye, with that kind of opinion. Because he is what he is. He's a fucking rat, and he's after everyone's money. And I don't feel like paying more for my groceries because some stupid doobie smoking cocksucker wants more weed to be available for them. Excuse me, if you're not going to be beneficial to society because you're going to be a lazy bump on a log and all you're going to do is consume, Slurpees, eat cheeseburgers, and smoke marijuana and do nothing else, excuse me, but my gives a fucks about you level has just dropped even further, and it was very, very small to begin with. Like, everybody really liked Cheech and Chong. I mean, I don't have anything particular against them, but I didn't like them that much. I didn't think they were that funny. And, Mark Emery had a lot of respect, did some hard times. Hard times. But that has nothing to do with me. He brought all that bullshit upon himself. And I'm looking at my situation going, what am I going to do for alcohol and things like that? And, particular crops that we need in the grocery system. How can I be beneficial to that? Well, I'm going to be an outspoken activist against marijuana. At this point, there are too many cogs moving in the machine, and it's going to go through anyway. But that doesn't mean it's going to be successful. Like Justin Trudeau's presidency, prime ministership, whatever the fuck. They're basically the same thing. Some asshole on top of the mountain telling everyone what to do. And Justin Trudeau, he's not actually particularly competent or good at his job. He's already made a few giant blunders, which I don't need to explain to people, but he's definitely fucked up. And, if this tanks on him, and I would, if I could put a vote in the ballot box to make sure that it does fuck up on him, I totally would. The guy's an asshole. And what he says now, as opposed to next week, next year, whatever, that will change according to what suits him best. And people like that, it's like, you can't really do business with them and trust them. You can't trust Justin Trudeau. You just can't. I mean, I know there are forces out there that, help push people along with their thinking process. That's called manufacturing consent. And usually that's a dirty business. It's usually got to involve taking advantage of stupid people or blackmailing people or, whatever. And, I don't want to see marijuana being sold in liquor stores. I don't think it's going to. I haven't actually looked into that subject or not. Not that it would matter anyway, because it's on the internet, which means it could say one thing one week and another the next, and only a stupid stoner who doesn't remember what he did 20 minutes ago would have an issue with that. Uh, and getting back to Big Pharma and them having control of marijuana. No, they don't have a squeaky clean record. And yes, they are going to continue to do bad things to people. I mean, you look at capsules, for example. A lot of people take capsules as medication because there's some junk in it. That's plastic. Straight up, a capsule is plastic. That's what it is. And only an idiot would think it wasn't. It's a form of digestible plastic, but it is plastic. And, as soon as you figure that out and you go, well, what's in the medicine I'm taking? Then it starts to, as some people would put it, going further into the rabbit hole. And it's like, why do we have to put up with this from these people? Uh, Marijuana with its mystery ingredients, mystery on how it's grown. Excuse me, how are you better than the gangbangers? In fact, you probably recruited a lot of the gangbangers who were more successful at growing, decent marijuana. Not that I know what that is because I don't smoke the shit. I don't enjoy smoking at all, actually. It's all about alcohol for me. Alcohol is way better. I mean, some people go, oh, well, alcohol makes you fat. It's bad for your liver enzymes. Yeah, well, marijuana is bad for your lungs. It has more tar in it. You don't know the long-term effects. And more than likely, they'll start fucking around with it like they did with cigarettes by putting all kinds of disgusting stuff in it. I'm not going to say alcohol doesn't have sometimes disgusting stuff in it, but that's different. It just is different. Um, yeah, and all the premature signs of aging. Whenever you see a scrawny old person with a bunch of crow's feet, wrinkles on their face and things like that, that's because they were a smoker. And guess what? We all have to get older, and marijuana is not some miracle, thing for people to do for recreation that's going to stop that. It isn't going to. And guess what? It really determines on what you want to look like when you get older. Do you really want to be a scrawny old person? Probably bitter, because a lot of cigarette smokers are bitter. And if marijuana is supposed to cheer you up and things like that, then I guess if you're cheered up in a scenario where you feel bitter at the same time, that would be like a mental disorder. That would be like bipolar or something like that. And you take one look in the mirror and you see what marijuana's done to you, and if you could clue in without, going, oh, I better smoke another marijuana doobie, you're going to see an ugly face staring back at you. And, if that's the future you want for yourself, then by all means. And guess what? Yeah, I weigh a few pounds more, okay? I weigh 200, well, I actually weigh 210. I used to weigh 200 because I haven't been at work for 14 months because of an undisclosed thing going on. But anyway, however, I was able to competitively run a length of a distance around a track field not too long ago with a friend of mine. He beat me by something like 15 seconds. But you want to know something? He had longer legs than I was, and he weighed a solid 60 pounds less than I do. And he was huffing and puffing as bad as I was. And, we went it was a long run. I couldn't say exactly how long it was on the track. But the point is, marijuana won't do anything for your lungs and being able to take in oxygen. It'll make that worse. Why it was more difficult for me to run is because I was carrying a good 60 pounds more than him as far as my body frame goes. And that's not exactly alcohol's fault necessarily. In my instance, I eat a lot of nutritious food. I had kale last night. I had a decent breakfast this morning. Every day I eat a vegetable of some kind. I don't eat as much as I should, but I do eat vegetables and things like that. And this guy, he was vegan. So he's vegan and smoked marijuana, and he weighed 60 pounds less than me, and he still only beat me by like 15 seconds. That goes to show, especially as I got bad knees right now too, because of the undisclosed part that I won't discuss here. And it's like it's already showing health problems. And Justin Trudeau coming along, wearing his Tinkerbell outfit with his little magic wand, going, "Oh, this will make everything all better." La, da, 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 da. And it's like, no, it isn't going to. It's going to make you a lot of money so that, I don't know, maybe your great great grandson can become prime minister again, and it'll be Trudeau era all over again, where we're the embarrassment of the whole goddamn world. Um, because it's all the pseudo intellectuals who are always bashing Trump. And, I don't know exactly what, a fat slob like Michael Moore would think, for example. I don't mean that big fat slob that's, tearing up the southeast of the states right now, that hurricane. I meant the actual director who, looks like a manatee or something. Like a very old, ugly one. Um, I'm glad his recent documentary flopped. I bet that pissed him off good. Well, guess what? Take a look in the mirror, asshole. You deserved it. Anyway, getting back to the point of marijuana, Michael Moore would be a candidate that would be pushing it. Because look at him. He looks like a fucking chain smoker. I'm not going to say he is because I don't know that for a fact, but he looks like one. I don't feel like the power being shifted from alcohol drinkers over to bitter, chain smoking, ashtray sons of bitches. I mean, I'm not gonna say there aren't people in the alcohol business who like both cigarettes and marijuana and alcohol as well. However, I am not one of them. I do not like smoke of any kind. When you think about it, it just sounds like a stupid idea. You're putting a warm chemical into your lungs and out of your lungs, and whether it's a vapor or not that I exactly know what that is. However, I disagree. And then you get those idiots who, want to add other things to it, like hallucinogenic effects and ooh, excuse me, and things like that. Um, Totally not on board with that because that leads to surprises and unexpected events happening in the night or the day or whenever someone's come along and go, "Hey, it was," it's like, no, I like my uh, alcohol to be predictable, so I know what I'm dealing with, what I'm going in with, because you learn these things as a consumption of alcohol type person. Whereas marijuana, you are going to get curveballs all the time. Like sometimes it's not going to work. Sometimes it works too well. Sometimes you get sick. Sometimes you get paranoid, anxiety, depression, and all this sort of stuff. And I think alcohol has an unfair rep for being a depressant. I've never felt depressed while I've been drinking. Despite what some people would like to believe because it's convenient for their beliefs just to go, oh, Iron Drac is some miserable guy who has a glass of wine in his hand and he has to pound off like Will Ferrell or something like that. I've seen that, what do you call it, a GIF, a GIF, a few times here and there. I don't even know what movie it's from. I don't care. Drinking alcohol, it got me through some very boring times in my life. And I gotta tell you, marijuana could not have filled its shoes. It couldn't have done that. And I know that's not the answer a lot of people want to hear, but a lot of people are fucking idiots, and I don't care if they get the answer they want to hear or not from me. I humbly disagree, and because the marijuana legalization is going to happen, that doesn't mean people like me are going to go away. We don't like marijuana. We don't want it taking, a bigger share of the resources and the market away from alcohol and produce and other food stuffs that we require. And people going, oh, well, look how starving they are in other places in the world. Got an issue? Here's a tissue. Take a condom, shut the fuck up, and stop fucking around. And maybe you could solve some of your own fucking problems instead of looking to the West like we gotta solve your problems. Oh, fuck off. Seriously. Well, there are a lot of Westerners who think that we have to, that we're obligated to, and it's like, why in the fuck are we obligated to do anything? They wouldn't help us if we were in trouble. In fact, they'd probably finish us off, to be honest with you, because we're Westerners. Um, so yeah, I mean, there are a lot of facts about marijuana and different perceptions depending on what your circumstance is. I understand that I am slightly biased in this conversation. I understand that. I'm willing to accept that. Marijuana smoker, most of them won't accept that they're biased. Um, they probably, who knows what their rationale is. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even want to listen to them for like 5 minutes because they get irritating real quick. And, you know, I did make mention to this, Mothers Against Drug Driving and things like that, and how in previous times it's been more alcohol that's been responsible for that sort of thing, or contributed, I should say. However, that's not indicative today. It's not indicative to me, and it's not indicative to a lot of people who consume alcohol. So you can't dig up relics from the past and bring them to today's table and use them as the same example. You can with cigarettes, because cigarettes is the same game. It's still a bunch of chemicals that will give you cancer. It's as simple as that. And a lot of people go, oh, well, your liver will give out if you keep drinking alcohol. My dad's 75 years old, and he can quit drinking for a whole year if he wanted to and not get any hangovers or any of the negative effects of alcohol. And, you know, getting back to digging up relics, you actually get people saying, oh, but what about wood alcohol? Okay. What about the dinosaurs? What about some caveman coming along and clunking you on the head with his club? What about those things? How far back do you want to go? And I realize some of those Stone Age relic people have still an unfair bias against alcohol, and they've been bitterly fighting for anything to stop alcohol for many, many years. And, you know, they may be the nicest of people when they're not talking about the destruction of alcohol, although I highly doubt it. However, as much as it's going to piss them off, I say the nay. We're not doing that. And I don't think alcohol should have a dominant say in what goes on in, uh, you know, recreational activity. Marijuana has no place in that. And don't take my word for it. Don't. There are other individuals that will think along my parameters of what should be considered normal, not including this shirt in the name Metallica on it. I have no idea what their bag is. They're probably in for it with marijuana because, let's face it, they're a bunch of sellouts at this point. They had good music, and now they're a bunch of sellouts. And, you know, it's done them okay, but, you know, all about deflating the balloon, you know? All I gotta do is pull the plug on it, and then it's like, and it's like, is a person like me supposed to care? No. I don't have to care anything at all, and I can do it guilt-free as well. And somebody going, but I lost my arm, and three of my buddies in this accident because of alcohol. And it's like, that's a crying out loud shame. However, it has nothing to do with me. So you take your leopard ass along with your friends and get it out of my sight. Because I don't care. Nobody cared when I had a sore throat for 6 years, and I still have one. Nobody cared. And I'm not going to go out there going, but my arm, but my buddies, I'm a leper. No, that's not happening. I know a lot of people in this day and age, they like it when people cry like little bitches. I don't particularly care for it. If somebody wants to go out there and revoke Bobby Whiskey on their hands and knees and cry like a little bitch, that's their game. That's their deal. That's not mine. It isn't happening. And if it does happen, rest assured there was a damn good reason for it because I would not like doing things like that. That's embarrassing to myself. I have a little bit of dignity, unlike all these people who are trying to get popular on the internet, because I'm not the only one. And all they have is the same generic make an ass out of themselves rhetoric that feeds into the propaganda apparatus and contributes to confusion civilization where people don't know what the fuck is going on, don't know what to talk about, and everyone wants to live secretive private lives. I can see the advantage to that, but then that means information doesn't get passed on from people to people, and people don't know anything, and before you know it, your rights are taken away. And that might be your right to drink alcohol, and it might be to buy particular produce items, like I keep saying, at reasonable prices because some stupid stoner on the fucking street corner wants to smoke marijuana. And it's like, I understand that you're poor and all, but don't drag me with you. You want to be poor because you're too lazy to make something of yourself, or you go, oh, it's too hard. Then I'm sorry, you failed at life. That's your problem, not mine. Don't try to make it my problem because you're unsatisfied with your life. Those were some mean comments I made, but, in my position, I can make mean comments and it doesn't matter. Anyway, on a more pleasant atmosphere, um, I will actually say something that will be um, slightly uh, nice to the marijuana community. Not that they deserve it, but because it's, you know, um, trying to be nice here, but with the kind of people that you're dealing with, it's hard. But anyway, let's return to our sponsor. The sponsor of today is Fisherman's Friend. It's a lozenge, and it's quite good. They have many flavors. They have cherry lemon. They have, not cherry lemon, they have cherry and lemon, which are two separate ones. They got the original, and I forgot what the other flavor is because I haven't tried it yet. I bought all four, but it's around here somewhere, but I'll look for it later. So anyway, sponsor of the day is Fisherman's Friend, and they're actually not bad little candies. I mean, it's a lozenge, right? So it's a relief of cough and fever and stuff. Not fever, sore throat and nasal congestion. There will be a time where you need it when you're smoking weed. The amount of times where I've seen stupid idiots inhale weed and then start hacking and going, I'm pretending I'm 70 years old here. No, you're not. You smoke too much weed and it's causing you to cough as if you're an old man. And you're trying to cover that up. Anyway, that was my nice thing to say. Everything else I said was kind of on the cold side, but you know what? Fuck you. Anyway, I'll talk to you assholes later. Have a good one.